The world is slowly dying. The climate of the planet is being ruined. Animals are losing their homes, and places around the world are getting flooded. Who could be behind this? And how did this happen? First got major news of climate change back in 1988, though we did get some warning of what could happen way back in 1956 by an article in the New York Times. And even back then, there were warnings that if we used too much of the fossil fuels that we had, it would damage the climate, but it was widely ignored. In late 1988, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change was established. This happened due to a number of major factors which pushed the greenhouse effect into the spotlight. These factors were a severe drought and heat around the United States, and massive fires in the Amazon rainforest and Yellowstone National Park. The first really important announcement that got everyone to pay attention to climate change was when, on June 23rd, in an unnerving Senate testimony, James E. Hansen, a climate scientist who had spent his past investigating the climate of Venus, had changed his work onto Earth's climate. He said that the greenhouse effect has been detected and is changing our climate now. So, despite this, climate change and the greenhouse effect are technically all natural parts of Earth. Water vapor, methane, carbon dioxide, and nitrous oxide are all natural greenhouse gases and are normal parts of Earth. But it is due to our overuse and production of some of these gases and fossil fuels, like coal and oil and halocarbons, that led us to doing undoable damage to the Earth and its atmosphere. This damage, however, could have easily and massively been reduced if people had just heeded the call to change. Back then, all people really had to do were small things. Simple things like cutting down on the amount of beef they ate, since cows produced a large amount of methane gas, which was a big part of the anthropogenic greenhouse effect we caused. Governments could have invested much more into solar panels as a much cleaner energy source. Carpooling, or driving less in general, would have led to less carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which has been the most problematic greenhouse gas that humans have used. And putting in laws or taxes to reduce the amount of carbon being used would have stopped us from being in the situation that we are in right now. It's too late now, though, and now we have to aim for bigger changes.
The planet isn't dead yet, but what can we do to fix this? We are no longer able to just do things like reduce the amount of beef that we eat or carpool. We have to do more drastic things. First, a big help would be convincing the family and friends around you to join you in doing things like using solar panels, eating less beef, carpooling, protesting in hopes of getting things changed in the government, along with voting in people that you truly believe will make a difference in the fight against climate change.
A report from the UN recently put out earlier this year says that we only have less than 12 years to avoid potentially irreversible climate disruption. We're in the endgame now, and if we don't do anything to try and fix this, future generations will have to live in an unbearable, irreversible circumstance.